Hello everybody, welcome back to Needle Workshop. My name is Emily and today we'll be making Link shirts from the video game Ocarina of Time. This particular piece of the costume is offered as a bib version. There are two reasons for this. A, we want to minimize the layers as much as possible so the wearer won't get too hot. Or B, you can buy yourself a tight white shirt from a stretch fabric and make the collar separately from a more firm fabric. If you decide to go with option B, then please omit the long white sleeves from the tunic and make sure to match the color of your fabric to that of the shirt. As always, the pattern for this costume is available on our Etsy store, which you'll find the link for in the description box below. We also have more video tutorials available for this costume on our YouTube channel, and the links will be available in the description box below. Without further ado, let's get started. Before getting into the tutorial, please take note of the following information. If you would like some clarity on some of the terms used in this tutorial, you can find all definitions in the instruction manual provided with the pattern. For more info on how to take proper measurements and tweaking the pattern for your fit, you can also refer yourself to the instruction manual. Additionally, you'll find an array of useful information such as fabric and material suggestions, along with the tools used in this tutorial. Also keep in mind that it is essential to make a mock-up in muslin or cheap cotton before making the costume in your real fabric. Not only does this allow you to ensure the fit is right for you, it will also allow you to make any adjustments directly onto the garment. Also important to keep in mind is that all your seam allowances are 1 centimeter wide. Unless specified otherwise, all pieces sewn together will be sewn 1 centimeter from the edge. To begin with, you'll need to cut out all the following pieces. 1 pair of collar piece in white fabric and 1 pair in interfacing. 2 pairs of the front bodice piece in white fabric. 1 pair of the back bodice piece in white fabric. 1 rectangular piece in white fabric that measures 4 centimeters by 60 centimeters. This is an approximate measurement and can be cut down to each individual's needs. You'll also need 2 3/4 inch wide single bar buckles for this project. Ideally, you'd want them in white, but I was only able to find black ones. Once the cutting is done, apply all interfacing pieces to the right white pieces. Use your iron on the appropriate level of heat for your fabric and iron the interfacing pieces onto the wrong side of the white fabric. Take your 2 color pieces and sew them together right side to right side along the sides and along the top. Make sure to cut off the excess fabric at the corners and to cut some notches into your curve before turning it inside out. Once you're done, iron out your color. Next, sew both front and back bodices to each other, right side to right side, at the shoulder seam. Next, you'll need to attach your collar to one of your bodices. Before placing your collar, draw in your seam allowance along the top center front of your front bodices. This will indicate where to place the collar at the front. When placing your collar, make sure it is right side to right side and make sure to properly align the front edge of the collar to your marked line on the bodice and make sure to align all your notches. As a side note, you can see that I have already cut into my seam allowances on my back bodice and on my collar. This is because I'm currently re-sewing the collar into place. You should not yet have notched into this area. Once everything is placed properly, sew the 2 together 7 millimeters from the edge. When you're done, take your second bodice piece and place it over your collar and the bodice it is already attached to, right side to right side. Essentially, your collar will be sandwiched between the 2 bodices. Align your edges properly, making sure to align all your notches, and sew together 1 centimeter from the edge. Making sure not to cut into your stitch, cut small notches throughout your collar seam allowance. Turn the pieces inside out and iron flat. Now it's time to close your center front bodice. At this point, you'll have both an outer left and right front and an inner left and right front. Align the center front edges of your inner pieces together, right side to right side, and pin them together from the bottom to the center notch. Do the same process to your inner bodice pieces. Sew both center fronts shut. Make sure to stop your stitch exactly at the notch. Next, you'll need to align both right pieces together and both left pieces together and sew from the top to the center notch. When you arrive at the center notch, you'll need to stop exactly where your stitch from the previous step starts. Make sure not to catch your collar into the stitch when sewing at the top. You'll need to do the same on the left side too. Take your two center front seam allowances and press them open with the iron. If everything is done right, this is what your center front should look like. Now comes the even trickier part of sewing your armholes shut. Essentially, each armhole will be sewn shut separately. Also important to note is that both the front and back of each armhole will be sewn shut separately. Starting with your left or right armhole, fold in the edges of the front of the armhole inward and pinch them together with your other hand. Pull on the edges while turning your garment inside out. Pin both seams together, making sure to align all your notches all the way to the shoulder seam. Sew from the shoulder seam all the way to under your armhole. Repeat these steps again at the back of the armhole. You should then have a completed armhole. Once you're done sewing each armhole shut, cut a few notches into the curved area. Once again, make sure not to cut into your stitch. Now repeat all the previous steps, but on the other armhole. Next, we'll be preparing our side straps. Grab your two rectangular pieces, place them right side to right side, and sew them together along the 60 centimeter side, 1 centimeter from the edge. Turn them inside out using a loop turner and iron them flat. Cut your long strap into 4 equal pieces. Overlock at one end of each of the pieces. Fold over about 1 centimeter the overlocked ends of 2 of the straps. Sew into place with a straight stitch. Now take the 2 other straps and slip the overlocked ends into your single bar buckles. Okay. Wrap the middle bar of your buckle with the strap and sew the strap to itself using a zigzag stitch. Your straps are now ready to be attached to your shirt. Sew your straps to the front of the bodice. To do so, you'll need to fold the edges of the side of your bodices inwards and place your strap in between them. Turn the garment inside out and sew into place 1 centimeter from the edge. Roughly pin the other side of the straps to the back bodice and test the fit on you. You'll need to shorten them to a comfortable fit. Once you have your fit figured out, cut the straps to the desired length with a 1 centimeter of seam allowance. Fold the edges of the side of your back bodice inwards and place your strap in between them. Turn the garment inside out and sew into place 1 centimeter from the edge. Once all your straps are properly placed, you'll just have your bottom hem to finish. The cleanest finish would be to fold your edges 1 centimeter in and top stitch it shut about 3 millimeters from the edge. Personally, I got pretty lazy and simply overlocked since this area will not be visible. The best way to finish the end of an overlock stitch is to use an embroidery needle to loop the end of the stitch back into the overlocked edge. This makes for a clean and solid finish. Last but not least, you'll need to install your eyelets. Using the pattern as reference, mark the location of your eyelets. You can either use standard metal or plastic eyelets, ideally white ones, of about 2 to 3 millimeters wide, or you can get crafty and make your eyelets by hand like I did. There are many tutorials on this subject already available on YouTube, so I'll share a few links in the description box below. If this is your first time making eyelets by hand, I would strongly suggest practicing before doing them on the finished garment. For the front lacing, I used a 2 millimeter wide string that I cut long enough to pull my collar wide enough to slip my head through. The opening can then be pulled shut by pulling on the strings from the inside. At the end of the strings, I sewed on small weights to help prevent it from being pulled open through the day. And with that, your garment should be done. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please make sure to leave them in the comments box below. If you like this kind of content, then make sure to give it a big thumbs up and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell for more cosplay related content. If you'd like to know a bit more about our upcoming projects, feel free to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. All links will be in the description box below. Until next time, good luck with your projects!